Hi everyone, I'm Ben Jones. Welcome back to the Data Literacy video channel. This is the second video in our Crucial Concepts series. Title here is Data Literacy Means Measuring What Matters. What triggered this topic was news about Twitter and Elon Musk. They've been in the news a lot lately, haven't they? Well, last month there was some conversation and a little bit of an outcry that maybe they were using a metric that wasn't very appropriate, the count of the lines of code to decide which programmers to fire. So this triggered a huge debate within the programmer community. And of course, I'm not sure if this is actually what happened or if there were just thoughts about that, but there were some Slack message boards that seemed to indicate that's what was going on. This was combined with photographs that Twitter programmers were sharing on Twitter about them having to physically print out their code that they'd written and bring it to review meetings to show that they've been productive. Okay, so those in the programmer community who are writing about this, summarized their thoughts by saying, this is not a legitimate way to measure whether someone is a good programmer or not. There's lots of situations in which someone might be really talented and also contributing without writing a huge number of lines of code. Maybe they're doing research. Maybe they're prioritizing or delegating. Maybe they're writing negative code, a term that means they're going in and removing code so that maybe features get taken out or something that's long and cumbersome becomes more efficient and elegant. So lots of ways in which a programmer might not have a huge number of lines of code, but be a great producer for the team. So again, this is not my area of expertise, but I'll just summarize it by reading this quote, a very popular one from Bill Gates, well known as a programmer as well, right? Here's what he says. Measuring programming progress by lines of code is like measuring aircraft building progress by weight. Okay, so this reminded me of a situation 2 years ago. Speaking of Microsoft, when they released something called the productivity score in their Office 365 feature. Now, this allowed managers to see team members and how much they've been emailing, contributing to Teams message boards, or attending meetings. This caused a huge outcry for privacy reasons, resulting in Microsoft removing the username visibility. So now all you can see is that productivity score at an aggregated or a team level. But I even questioned whether or not that's a legitimate way to measure someone's contribution to a team. Is it important and relevant for us to simply understand how much of some activities they were doing? How do we know if those activities really matter? And so this also reminded me of a situation in the sports world in 2018 when LeBron James was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were playing the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. Jason Lloyd of The Athletic confronted LeBron at the end of one game and said, "Did you know you're the slowest player?" based on this player tracking system that had been put in place. Let's just say LeBron took exception to that, didn't like being called the slowest player, felt that instead he should be measured by how tired he is at the end of the game. And I thought, well, it'd be even better for him to ask about his statistical contribution, how well his team was doing. There are some interesting stats that give it some insight into how much a player is contributing to the bottom line. So this brings up what I'd like to suggest here, that when we're measuring performance, we don't just look at one metric, we instead look at a combination of them. So for example, we might be measuring some quantity, how much of something someone does. This is what lines of code, Microsoft's productivity score, and player speed on the basketball court all have in common. Those are activities that people are doing. Well, are they contributing to the end goal or not? We don't really know. And simply by measuring the activity level, that's only part of the story. And you're simply just incentivizing people to check a bunch of boxes, run around like crazy and do those activities, which might not be helping you at all. So we like to balance that with some kind of a quality metric. How well are they doing things? Is a basketball player making their shots? Is a programmer creating features that delight customers and meet customer requirements? These are all ways we can track how well someone is doing something, not just how much of it they're doing. And of course, we oftentimes see these perception metrics. They're subjective. What do people think of a person and how well they're doing? That can be really relevant and important as well. Maybe you're in customer service. An organization needs to know how customers who call into a helpline perceive someone and their ability to help them solve their problems. My point is that if you only look at any one of these metrics, you're going to skew the situation and probably incentivize some behaviors you don't want. If all you do is measure perception, it's going to turn everything into a popularity contest. and that might not be legitimate. It might not be what you want. There are even cases you can say when kind of like negative code in the perception world, maybe someone's being brought in to change something about a system that is not a very popular move. And so they might not be very highly liked and popular within an organization, even though they're doing their job very well. So we need to have a balanced approach. We need to have a conversation. We need to also realize that people take their performance measurement very seriously and personally sometimes. So this is something that involves some sensitive conversations with people so they can really feel on board with how they're being tracked and measured. Okay, that's all I have for you today. And I would like to say, subscribe if you can. We're going to keep creating more and more content here, really to help you speak the language of data. Remember, with this video, the reminder here that you want to really take home is that being highly data literate means you know what to measure, and you measure the things that matter. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.